let's start out with the first obstacle up here, which was identifying the right business or field to go into. Now, I could have put another stopper ahead of number one, which is getting yourself structured to do this, getting yourself positioned to do it, meaning getting your head right. But I didn't want to go there because to many people, they won't see that as an obstacle. And I'll only reference it here because it is part of the process. Because you see, you are a foundation on which you are going to build a very big building. And if your foundation isn't strong, you're limiting the size of the structure, the size of the building that you can put upon yourself. And so that just leads to the importance of these early sections of Bizar financing, where we help you to build that psychological foundation that you need to grow a very big enterprise on your shoulders. And so, again, I want to encourage everybody to, as you review and go through this process, to go back to these early sections and make sure that you're comfortable, that you're satisfied, that you are coming from a psychological and emotional and intellectual place that is so strong that if not ready to build your building right now in a massive way, that you at least know what has to be done to work yourself there so that your foundation is strong enough to put on top of that foundation anything you really want out of life. And these are the tools that will help you get there. Okay, so psychology of business success. How to get from where you are now to where it is that you want to go. Here's where we get into unlocking that dream inside yourself. What is it? What is it that really turns you on? And then how to convert that into goals and setting those goals and writing those goals down and getting your subconscious mind in full alignment with where it is that you want to go in life so that your subconscious mind becomes a powerful partner in getting done what you want to get done. Anybody who's succeeded radically at anything gets it really quickly that their conscious mind is not smart enough to do the things that they ended up doing that got them where they've gotten to. That there were things that they did automatically. There were things that they did without thinking about it. There were things that popped out of the environment that they don't even know how they saw that. They weren't paying attention, and yet there it was, and it just came to their attention. Well, see, that's your subconscious at work. That's your subconscious helping you fulfill your conscious goals. And so understanding that and learning how to tap into that strength, learning how to build your self-image so that you see yourself as that strong foundation upon which you can erect any edifice that you visualize you want to create for yourself and your financial structure. Working with that self-image. And then making your plans, taking action, sustaining that commitment, checking your alignment. These are all important pieces of that. I'm not going to belabor them here, but I'm going to say to you, if you feel you're lacking in any part of that, if you feel that there's any part of your foundation which isn't strong enough to build the level of building you want to put on that foundation, then here is where you're going to find your answers, the things to do, the things to practice, the things that will help you accomplish those things. And very similarly, how you look and appear and act is such a critical factor. Last week, I believe it was, I went over with you a deal that we're putting together, not last week, but last webinar. I went over with you a deal that we're currently putting together and how all the pieces fell into place. That would not happen if I didn't look the part, act the part, and then through my understanding of myself, be the part. And that required education. It required experience in finance, management, leadership, motivation, speaking skills, self-awareness, knowing who I am and what I'm capable of, my industrial and technical knowledge, my reading and memory skills, my experience. Okay, I worked on these for many, many years. I didn't just materialize overnight, having this incredible structure on which today I can now build whatever it is I want to build. But I worked on building up that foundation, knowing that the structure and building that I could put upon my own shoulders would only be proportional to the structure I created into that foundation. And so every day I work on building that foundation. And so again, in this section of the workbook, in this section of the audios and the videos, this is a guidepost to how do you accomplish those things so that wherever you go, you look the part, you act the part, you are the part. And there will be no doubt in anyone's mind when they speak to you, when they see you, when they interact with you, that they don't need to vet you, they don't need to validate you, they don't need to see your financial statement, they don't need to ask you these penetrating questions that you can't answer right now because you project yourself in such a way that they get it just in your presence, that you're real and you can deliver what you say. And once people feel that way about you, you virtually unlock the doors as to what can happen for you in life. Section number 3 here is also a part of the process, but it really gets into the negotiation. So I'm going to save this and maybe come back to it when we get down into more of the negotiating sessions. So just bear with me because I'm going to come back here. I'm going to go now right to how to find the right business for you and address it here, identifying the right business or field to go into. There is a big world out there. I mean, big world. And there are businesses engaged in every type of human activity that you can imagine. There is nothing of interest to you that there isn't some business that's built on serving people to whom that's an interest. And so part of this process is not going into a business that somehow intellectually you think is a hot field to go into, one of the fastest growing things on the planet, one that will be good in a bad economy, or one that will be great in a good economy, or one that you're ahead of the trend. I mean, all those are possible factors, but they're down the line factors. They're later considerations, not now. The only thing that you should start with when you think about what field or what business you should go into is truly understanding who you are, what turns you on and excites you, what are your core competencies and skill sets, and what is it that you could go into in that full field of human interests out there that you would be happy in doing that every day for the rest of your life. Now, we give you a process for doing that, and it's called the funnel approach. And the reason it's called the funnel approach is the front end of it's a big funnel that sucks in the entire planet. And the bottom of it is a very tiny little spout through which is going to plop out that 1 or 2 or 3 areas of human endeavor that are going to be the perfect ones for you to go into business in right now. And so that's why it's called the funnel approach. And it starts with doing something very mundane. It starts with doing something that most of us hate to do. And it's called doing a self-analysis. First of all, most of us don't want to look at ourselves that closely. We prefer to think we're good enough just the way we are, and that the whole world will somehow come together for us just if we be ourselves. And it ain't so. The world was not designed for us in our native state. If it was, we'd all be on beaches someplace eating coconuts. Okay? The world has come to a certain level of sophistication, and it requires certain things to be successful in it. And understanding ourselves and what we're capable of and what it is we really love to do and are designed at our core to do is a key part of this process. And if you haven't made the investment in yourself to do this systematically, then you are shortchanging yourself as to what's available for you out there in life. And so in this section, we take you through this process called the funnel approach. It's how to systematically do this self-analysis. How to determine where you are personally. What are your likes and your dislikes? What are your strengths and weaknesses? Most of us don't want to admit our weaknesses, but you know, it's okay. I have them. I know what they are. And I structure my business ventures to artfully avoid them. And I'll give you an example. I am not a good administrator of a business. I don't have the time or patience to do it well. So if I want to buy a business that I'm going to run, God bless that business. I run a business best when I team up or partner with somebody who administratively, that's their strength. And then I do the deals, I do the structuring, I do the negotiation, I bring in the parties. I create the business concepts, the business plan, the models. I love doing that. I'm good at doing that. But I can't run the thing to save my life. It's going to go the wrong way if I'm running it day to day. So I fess up to it. I admit it. And then I structure around it. But knowing what my strengths are, knowing what my weaknesses are, admitting my weaknesses and learning to structure around it is key to the ultimate success you're going to have in your business. And part of this process will take you through, and remember, there's page after page on this stuff, determining where you are professionally, what contacts you have that you can reach out to that can help you, determining where you are financially right now, and being honest with yourself. You know, maybe you can't write a check for $100,000 right now. Maybe you want to buy something that's going to require a check for $1 million, and you can't write that right now. Maybe you can't write a check for $5,000 or $10,000, but know where that threshold is. Understand where that limitation is. You're going to learn everything in this program you need to know to structure around it, but at least own up to it. Fess up to it. Get it clear in your head that for now, this is a potential obstacle for you, and what you're going to learn as you move forward in this program is how to finesse that obstacle. How to mentally take yourself through that obstacle. What are the tools and techniques that will take you through that obstacle? They're all here. And then the system takes you through a process to match yourself to a business. Which business would suit you? And then you start to look at those other questions that we asked earlier. Which of those businesses that interest you are in growth industries? And then, having gotten all of that, how do you locate this business? And you'll see the next item there, establishing your business criteria. How many of you really, honestly now, have a criteria for the business that you want to buy? I mean, you've done the homework. You looked it up in RMA annual statement studies in the industry. You've formulated a sales size company that you'd be comfortable owning. So you know the business, you know the industry, you know the sales size, and from the sales size in the RMA annual statement studies, you're able to go back and say, okay, how much cash would be in this business when I find it? How much inventory would it be carrying? How many locations would it probably have? How many employees would it employ? The whole picture. I mean, so you picture it in your mind. See, subconscious speaks in pictures. It doesn't use words. It's in pictures. The minute you picture something in your mind, you're giving a phenomenal message to your subconscious on what you want it to do for you. And so having that criteria in writing, the way it's shown you in the program, how to set it up, will take you through an actual criteria in writing that paints a vivid picture of the enterprise that you would like to purchase. From the numbers, you'll know how much you can pay for it. You'll know where you're going to leverage the resources of that company to get the financing that will enable you to buy it. And from our program, you'll know all the structure and strategy for how to pull all those pieces together. So don't let it bother you that at this moment in time, perhaps, you don't have a clue how you're going to buy this company that you've criteriorized. You criteriorize it. And once you've done that, your subconscious is clear on where you want to go. More importantly, you have a tool that you can communicate with everybody on planet Earth who can help you to acquire that company, from attorneys to accountants to bankers to investors to business brokers. No one has a question anymore of what direction you're going in, what it is that you want to do, and now they can put into it how they fit into your picture, because very few people paint a picture for the people they want help from. And so the minute you paint that picture for them, they're clearer on how they're going to help you than they are on anybody else, and guess where their attention goes? To you. You have stronger allies and partners the minute that you have that criteria. You've proven your professionalism, and you've eliminated their vetting and validating of you because you've come to them so professionally. Everything you need to know to put together this criteria is in our program. Everything. And remember, any question you have, you can always call us on the advisor line or send us an email. We'll help you through it. But hopefully, as I'm discussing these, you can kind of see how, wow, if I had that, sure, it would make this easier. Yeah, if I took the time and the energy to do that, all of a sudden, this isn't going to stop me anymore, this identifying the right business or field to go into. If I do the homework here, number one, as a stopper, goes away. It goes away. And then we take you right in